Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the most pivotal battles in history, and I'm your host, General Biography. Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating and complex campaigns of World War II, the Battle of Metz. Located in northeastern France, Metz was a strategic stronghold that played a crucial role in the Allied advance towards Germany. The battle was a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of both the American and German forces, and its outcome would have far-reaching consequences for the war in Europe. To understand the significance of the Battle of Metz, we need to go back to the summer of 1944, when the Allies were making steady gains in Normandy. As the Germans retreated, they left behind a trail of destruction and fortifications designed to slow down the Allied advance. The city of Metz, with its medieval fortress and modern defenses, was one such stronghold. The Germans had invested heavily in fortifying the city, which was nestled in the Moselle Valley, surrounded by hills and forests. The city's strategic location made it a crucial hub for transportation and communication, and its capture was essential for the Allies to continue their push into Germany. In the months leading up to the battle, the American Third Army, led by General George S. Patton, had been making rapid gains in France. Patton's forces had broken out of Normandy and were advancing rapidly towards the German border. However, as they approached Metz, they encountered stiff resistance from the German First Army, which was determined to hold on to the city. The Germans had created a series of defensive lines, including the Maginot Line, which stretched along the French-German border. Metz was a key strongpoint in this line, and its capture would require careful planning and execution. As the Allies approached Metz, they began to gather intelligence on the German defenses. They discovered that the city was surrounded by a series of forts, each equipped with heavy artillery and machine guns. The Germans had also created a network of tunnels and bunkers, which allowed them to move troops and supplies undetected. The Americans realized that a direct assault on the city would be costly and potentially disastrous, so they began to develop a more nuanced strategy. In the fall of 1944, the American Third Army launched a series of operations designed to weaken the German defenses around Metz. They began by attacking the outlying forts and strongpoints, using a combination of artillery, air power, and infantry assaults. The Germans put up fierce resistance, but the Americans slowly began to gain ground. As they closed in on the city, they encountered increasingly stiff resistance, and the battle became a war of attrition. The American forces were led by General Walton Walker, a seasoned commander who had fought in World War I and had a deep understanding of European warfare. Walker's strategy was to use a combination of firepower and maneuver to outflank the German defenses and capture the city. He began by launching a series of feints and probes designed to test the German lines and identify weaknesses. As the battle intensified, Walker's forces faced numerous challenges, including treacherous terrain, inclement weather, and logistical shortages. As the battle raged on, General Walker's forces faced a series of daunting challenges. The Germans had constructed a network of fortified positions, including the imposing Fort Driant, which dominated the approaches to the city. On November 14, 1944, American troops launched a fierce assault on the fort, but were repelled with heavy losses. The failure to capture the fort forced Walker to regroup and reassess his strategy. Undeterred, Walker ordered a series of flanking maneuvers designed to outmaneuver the German defenses. On November 16, 1944, American forces launched a bold attack on the town of Juriox-Arches, which lay just west of Metz. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. However, the Americans eventually secured the town, gaining a crucial foothold in the German defenses. As the fight for Metz intensified, the weather began to play a significant role. Heavy rains and fog reduced visibility, making it difficult for both sides to coordinate their attacks. On November 20, 1944, American forces launched a major assault on the fortified town of Wypie, which lay just north of Metz. The battle was fierce, with artillery fire and small arms exchanges lighting up the gloomy skies. Despite being outnumbered, the German defenders held firm, inflicting significant losses on the Americans. The failure to capture Wypie forced Walker to reevaluate his strategy once again. He realized that a direct assault on the city would be too costly and instead opted for a more cautious approach. On November 22, 1944, American forces launched a series of probing attacks on the German defenses, designed to identify weak points and exploit them. As the battle reached its climax, General Patton himself became increasingly involved in the fighting. On November 25, 1944, he visited the front lines where he witnessed firsthand the ferocity of the combat. "The whole area is a sea of mud," he wrote in his diary. "The men are wet and cold, but their spirits remain high." Patton's presence seemed to galvanize the American troops, who redoubled their efforts to capture the city. On November 28, 1944, American forces launched a final, decisive assault on Metz. The battle was fierce, with artillery fire and small arms exchanges rocking the city. However, the Americans had finally gained the upper hand, and the German defenses began to crumble. As the sun set on November 29, 1944, American troops entered the city, marking a major turning point in the Battle of the Bulge. As American troops secured Metz on November 29, 1944, they faced the daunting task of consolidating their gains and preparing for future operations. The city was a scene of utter devastation, with buildings reduced to rubble and streets littered with debris. Despite these challenges, General Walker's forces worked tirelessly to restore order and provide aid to the civilian population. In the aftermath of the battle, the Allies continued to push the Germans back, eventually breaking out of the Moselle Valley and advancing into the heart of Germany. The capture of Metz proved to be a crucial turning point in the war, as it denied the Germans a vital stronghold and secured a key route for Allied forces. As historian Charles MacDonald noted, the Battle for Metz was one of the most significant and least celebrated victories of the European theater. This observation is particularly apt, given the ferocity and complexity of the fighting. The battle had been a true test of endurance, with both sides suffering heavy casualties in the midst of treacherous terrain and inclement weather. In the years following the war, the city of Metz underwent significant reconstruction efforts, with many of its historic buildings and landmarks restored to their former glory. Today, visitors can walk along the same streets where American troops fought so bravely, taking in the sights and sounds of a city that has been reborn. The legacy of the Battle of Metz is still felt today, with the city serving as a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by soldiers on both sides. As General Patton himself once said, "War is not just about winning or losing, it's about the men who fight and die for their country." These words are particularly relevant when considering the Battle of Metz, which was marked by countless acts of courage and selflessness. The capture of Metz represented a major milestone in the Allied advance, paving the way for the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany. Moreover, it served as a testament to the enduring spirit of American soldiers who fought against overwhelming odds to secure a crucial victory. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.